I was training at Gold's Gym. It was in the 60s, 69, 70. And I was wrestling pro on TV, which I got into prior to moving to Venice. Being on TV twice a week in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, you're seen. And you're seen by a lot of producers and directors and actors and people in show business because you're on TV twice a week and they can't miss you. Especially everybody turns on wrestling at some point or another. The wrestlers that I work with, like Freddie Blassie and some of the old-time guys, are big men, heavy men, not in shape. And I was one of the maybe only bodybuilder off Venice that was actually in the ring. So I stood out like a sore thumb, blonde hair and a good body and blue eyes. So I got asked to do a couple of things. However, we were down at the beach one day, all of us from the gym, Arnold and a bunch of us guys hanging around the pit. Somebody comes up to us and they said, look, we're from Huboosh Productions. We're shooting a commercial for Chevrolet and we would love to have about a dozen of you guys in the commercial. Can you come down Monday for an audition? So he said yes, I said yes, and we all got in the car and drove down on Monday and they hired us. The job was to go to Malibu. They took us on a bus. They trimmed our hair shorter, which I wasn't happy about. And some of the guys, they just combed it over their ears and they put us out on the beach and they had a Chevy Super Sport called Heavy Chevy that they had a cable attached to, and what we're supposed to do is grab it and lift it and it goes up in the air. It's called Heavy Chevy. They had a little skinny guy who was with us, and I don't know exactly what he did in the commercial, but it is on YouTube. And that was our first introduction to the movie business. There was Arnold and I and Reg Lewis, and there's a bunch of guys that we all worked together on this shoot. And it was a chance for us to join Screen Actors Guild. We got $1,000 for it. Jim Morris was on it as well. And a couple of LA Ram football players back in those days. So I joined the guild. I think we all joined SAG because it was an opportunity to join. You could do it for $300 then. Now it's like $3,000. And registered as actors, which is a good thing because if you want to work in a film, you need to have your SAG card if you want to get a union job with residuals. So after doing that, we all got paid. I made up my mind. I said, you know, I'm going to get an agent and see if I can get myself some work. And I did, and I was able to get an agent, and he got me booked on the FBI series with Ephraim Zimbalist as a jewel thief. And the funny thing was, I was standing by the door doing a rehearsal, waiting to block a restroom. And Ephraim Zimbalist comes by, and he's supposed to say, excuse me, and I say, I'm sorry, it's busy in there. You can't go in. So he walks by and he says, excuse me. And I said, oh, sure, go on in. He says, no, this is a rehearsal. And I didn't know it. And I messed the whole thing up. But the second time I got it right. The other story I have, and it's funny about Arnold, one of the funny things he did is he called me one night. He says, now that we're working as actors, he says, I got offered a movie, and the audition is in Burbank, California for a couple of producers and directors at a house. We've got to read some dialogue. Come with me. They maybe he'll use you. And it was like a gladiator type of thing. So I said, okay, I'll go with you. So we drove up to Burbank. We went in. We sat down. He looked at the script. He was chuckling, and they were saying what they wanted him to do, and he started reading it. And he was stumbling over the words, and it wasn't coming out right with his accent, and he was laughing, and they were looking at him like, boy, he's having a tough time with this dialogue. And I was laughing as well. And then when we got done, they said, thank you very much. We got in the car, and he says, so what do you think? And I said, I'll be really honest with you. I said, I don't think you should ever think about being an actor because it's not happening. All right. We know where that went from there, and that I probably shouldn't have said that. And look where he is now. So we all start in some places and we kind of screw up, and then later on it comes together. But it was a funny moment, and we laughed about it for a long, long time. And it was one of those funny things that just had happened. He went off to do Conan and some other things. I went off and I did movie Ben with the Rats. And then I got another movie and then another film and then another commercial. And he was doing this. And all this led into the film business from bodybuilding. And the only downfall was back then is that when you were a bodybuilder, you were always stuck as a dummy in a role. Standing by a door, bodyguarding this, doing something silly. Now today when they use guys in shape, they use them to a better advantage and everybody has a decent role. Arnold put it on the map by having a good body by doing Conan and the Terminator, and muscles were popular. Stallone, muscles were popular. So you have to see where that took off. These guys set the standard that you can be an actor and you can be a bodybuilder, you can be muscular, and you can do other roles. So that's how that all took off, and from that point we did a lot of stuff, which I always talk about on my show. Today, I haven't gone out much to do any commercial work. I told my agent I can't find a category. If they call me for a father and a grandfather, which I am, and I have 5 grandkids, I don't fit the mold. I don't look like the little fat guy sitting in the chair with the hair on the sides and the glasses. There's guys, they fit that role. So I can't play what I really am, unfortunately. But that's how it was. We had a phone booth, or actually a payphone on the wall in Gold's, and the phone would ring, and Zabel Kozuski was managing the gym. He'd be sitting in a barber chair that Joe Gold got him with his sunglasses on, sleeping, and I'd say, Zabel, the phone's ringing. He said, that's all right, they'll call back. So I would answer it. And it'd be a casting office. Said, we're looking for a group of bodybuilders to come down to be on a commercial or be on a show, maybe the Johnny Carson, Flip Wilson, the Cher show, any one of those, which we all went down on, and we all booked them. So that phone on the wall is what gave us all our start into show business, and I took advantage of it. Since I answered every time I marked down where we're going, I got the guys together, we went, we booked it, and we got paid. And from this point on, we kept getting residual payments for the following years, even up till now. I still get something once in a while. Anyway, I wanted to tell you that's how the entertainment worked with bodybuilding.